values. It is the practice to evaluate the elasticity at the mean values of log K and log L, and not the log values of the mean values of log K and log L, which is given as this. And you evaluate this elasticity by inserting the coefficient estimates and evaluated at a mean of log K and log L. This gives an elasticity of 0.3757, 0.5425, which is comparable to the value of 0.3757. Again, don't know how. As a coefficient of capital under the Cobb-Douglas specification. This was attained as a coefficient of capital under the Cobb-Douglas specification, which your output must be seen. The estimated standard error for this linear combination is this. Estimated var equal to this W prime, and B is the full 6/1 coefficient, least squares coefficient vector. This value is 0.112, which is reasonably close to the estimate of 0.853 for capital under log-Douglas, Cobb-Douglas production function, which must be available, and the standard error for log K in the Cobb-Douglas output. So the programming details follow in elasticity 1. Testing nonlinear restrictions. Okay, now as a final example, this is what we saw in the while discussing the hypothesis testing. Also, I just reproduce the same thing. Actually, test nonlinear restriction slope parameters. Restrictions, nonlinear functions are slope parameters. The general problem is of testing a hypothesis that involves a nonlinear function of the regression coefficients. Okay, if you look at the case of a single restriction, then a test statistic could be calculated this way, or its square, which will be distributed as T minus K and F into 1 minus K respectively. But you have to obtain an estimate of the denominator, which involves finding the variance of a nonlinear function. So we shall give below an example of a long-run marginal propensity to consume. Consumption function is this. The long-run marginal propensity is defined this way: beta by 1 minus gamma. We shall consider testing. Sorry, this is delta equal to 1, not gamma. Consider testing delta equal to 1. The estimated model is given below in regression. Hypothesis we are going to test is delta equal to 1, not gamma. The estimated model is given below in regression 5. Estimated standard errors are shown in parentheses. We also require the estimated asymptotic covariance of B and C, which is available from the covariance matrix of the coefficients displayed above. Displayed in your output. How would you calculate the variance of D from where you have to calculate the standard error? Can you calculate the variance of D?
Yes, sir, delta method.
How would you calculate? The estimated asymptotic covariance of D is calculated as follows. The square of which is 0.01666078.
Sir, can you scroll up one slide once?
This one?
Yes. Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Can you calculate the variance of D?
Yes, sir.
Asymptotic variance of D is this way. The square of which is 0.016078. How do you test now the hypothesis? Is this now? How do you test this now? We have this from our estimated regression point 99403. 99403.
Upon the standard error of
No, -1.
-1 upon the standard.
So this is what I'm getting, minus 0.37131. Because we're using a large sample approximation, we can refer to standard normal table instead of the t distribution. We conclude that the hypothesis delta is equal to 1 is not rejected, not gamma.
Sir, how did we find that 0.016 part?
This is what?
Oh, it's the square.
So the programming details are available in, I don't know, in your resume. So these are some of the examples. I will send these slides also so that you can sit with it and relate it. Except this particular part, 2.2 basic. Okay, why rats did it this way? This is the explanation. Only explanation they got is check the half in front. The half in front has been already accounted for. Why they still maintain this half in front, I don't know. But I have to tell you that in the literature, it is always taken as beta 2 plus beta 3 equal to 1, beta 4 plus beta 5 is equal to 0, beta 5 plus beta 6 is equal to 0. That's the only way to. These two are different. These checked at different restrictions in the same setup. It's never done this way. But eViews never does it this way. eViews does it this way. B4 plus B5, beta 4 plus beta 5 is equal to 0. Beta 5 plus beta 6 is equal to 0. They don't add it up like that. Okay, this is it. Now these are the examples, some of the examples. And here elasticity is always estimated at the mean point. It does not mean to say that you cannot evaluate at any other point. You can simply evaluate the elasticity at any point of your choice. This is the advantage of flexible functional forms. And there's something called globally well behaved. These are locally well behaved. There are globally well behaved functional forms also, which improves upon the fit of translog. But the translog is so popular. Flexible functional form, either it is translog or there's some other production system which is called the almost ideal demand system, AIDS. These two are the most popular thing. There are also some non-parametric or semi-parametric systems like Fourier flexible functional form, pretty complicated stuff. Okay, now this is it. Now this brings us to the end of hypothesis testing. Now I'm going to another important a method of estimation or estimating or obtaining the estimates of the parameter vector. So far, we have concentrated only on wireless. As I said right in the beginning, there are many ways of estimation. Now, with advent of computers, the simulation-based estimation also come in. Vastly different estimates you get for the problems that have been reported in the textbooks. Simulation, because of advent of powerful computers, you can keep or you can do whatever you want. But normally the method of estimation that is preferred by both theoreticians and applied people are either the least squares or the maximum likelihood estimation. And I have to tell you from this point onwards, with the advent of computers, powerful computers and packages, whenever it comes to estimation, you must settle only for maximum likelihood estimation. Even though OLS is very simple and you can do it for many situations where with the rudimentary computation, this is the estimation method you must choose no matter what. Maximum likelihood. There are other methods like Bayesian estimation, there's generalized method of moments estimation. So many other things are there. GMM is very useful in finance when we do not know, we have no idea about the distributional problems. Finance is notorious for that. So GMM is very much applicable for financial application and financial econometrics. Okay, now let's go to maximum likelihood estimation. What is maximum likelihood estimation? This is a method to choose those estimators for unknown parameters that maximizes the likelihood function. It was introduced by Fisher way back in 1912. What is it? Principle of maximum likelihood. Look at this carefully. Look at it carefully. The difference between the density function and the likelihood function. Suppose a sample consists of a set of observations on t random variables y1, y2, and yt. See, inadvertently, the time series thing has come. The statistical model specifies a distribution for y1, y2, yt known as the joint density function. That's always the case. Now, if you further suppose that this depends on n unknown parameters in a vector theta to theta and prime, then the joint density may be denoted. See the notation. The joint density may be denoted if y1, y2, yt. The theta is just to say that it depends on the parameter vector theta, and interpreted as the probability of obtaining the particular values of y1, y2, yt. At this point, I will ask you a question. How would you proceed? You are interested in finding the probability of obtaining the particular values y1, y2, yt. How would you proceed? Do you understand the question?
So the probability of obtaining these y1, y2, yt given a particular, for which particular theta is the probability of obtaining this maximized?
Interpret as a probability of obtaining the particular values y1, y2, y capital T. How would you go about it?
Okay.
What will be our aim?
So then y1, y2, and yt, those will be fixed.
We have got a sample of observations, sample set of observations.
Yes.
Now we want to interpret a maximum joint density function is interpreted as a probability of obtaining this sample. How would you go about it?
So we find values of theta for which this is satisfied.
How many values would you find?
So we differentiate the joint probability function.
No, wait. Who is this?
Sir Gunika.
Gunika, wait. At this point, answer this question. You said different values of theta. Where will you end, Rishan?
Sir, I'm not sure.
Let's hold on now. Now see what maximum likelihood does, how it interprets the joint density function. Look at this. This is a principle of maximum likelihood. Our idea is to, you won't fight with me when I say our idea would be to maximize this probability of obtaining the particular values, won't you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, how does the maximum likelihood look at the same problem? Look at the bullet point. But once a sample has been drawn, y1, y2, and yt become a set of fixed numbers. Can we say that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now this is how the difference comes. Then the expression for the joint density is reinterpreted as a function of theta, where theta is any admissible value of parameter vector rather than the true value. This is the difference between the interpretation of a density function and the likelihood function. The expression for joint density, what are we trying to say here? The moment the values have been drawn, our idea, listen carefully, the moment the values have been drawn, the values are considered to be fixed numbers, and our aim is to find that set of parameter theta which would have most likely given rise to this sample. Do you understand? The class?
So one question,
Yeah.
how is the sample related to the parameter theta? That I am not able to understand.
How do you normally do? What do you normally do? The sample consists of a set of observations of free t random variables y1 to y2. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
It must have come from some distribution. Any question?
No, sir. Yeah.
So it specifies a joint density function. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Any density function depends on a set of parameter vectors. Okay.
Oh, all right. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
So that,
Then what
yeah.
are we saying? This parameter vector, this set of parameter vector must have given rise to this sample of observations. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Joint density function is interpreted as the probability of obtaining this particular sample for any given parameter vector theta. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And our intention is to maximize this probability. Won't it be?
Yeah. So given a value of theta, we are trying to maximize the probability that we obtain these values.
Yeah, but we do not know what this theta is. So somebody suggested try it for various thetas and calculate the probability.
Oh, all right. Yes.
Okay. What does likelihood tell you? Likelihood function tells you is the following. Once a sample has been drawn, y1, yt becomes a set of fixed numbers, right?
Yes, sir.
Then the joint expression for the expression of joint density can be reinterpreted as a function of theta, where theta is any admissible value of the parameter vector rather than the true value. Am I right? Now here we do not know the true value, so we keep on trying for various thetas and save the probability and check the probability, but where will you stop? But what is the likelihood function? Likelihood function tells you treat this as a set of fixed numbers and look for that particular set of theta which most likely is to have been the vector parameter that would have given rise to this particular sample. Third bullet point, therefore indicates the plausibility of different values of theta given the sample. Is it possible? Sagar?
So,
Yeah.
so I couldn't
Yes, sir.
understand this last point that you said.
What is that last point?
Plausibility of different values of theta given the sample.
Yeah,
So we are
yes.
so we are checking the probability of the sample at different values. Is this statement
The
mean that?
plausibility that no. What do we know? Do we know the true value of theta?
No, sir.
It could be any theta, right?
Yeah.
For different values of theta, the probability will be different, right?
Yes, sir.
That's what I mean in the third bullet point. It
Yeah.
therefore indicates
Okay,
the
okay.
plausible different values of theta given the sample.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now, okay.
Sir,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
is the sir? What is the meaning of this theta except for being a parameter? I mean, what does it signifies? Uh, like what does it tell about the whatever the sample we have drawn?
This theta.
Yes, sir. This theta. So basically, this is a parameter, but I mean, this must tell something about data, right? We cannot start from like
Correct.
any
Correct.
random value of theta.
No. Okay. No random value of theta. For
No,
a normal.
yes, that's what.
For a normal distribution, what will this theta be?
Sir, mu and sigma square.
Yeah, Saurav was the one who said that. Saurav,
Yes, sir.
for a normal distribution, what will this theta be?
Mu and sigma square. I think this answered that,
Yeah,
right?
for okay, now for our multiple linear regression, what will this theta be?
What will it be?
For a multiple linear regression, what will this theta be?
I'll have to.
Multiple linear regression. What is a multiple linear regression model?
Y is equal to x1 beta 1 x1 plus beta 2 x2 like
Beta
that.
vector. The beta vector. Am I right?
Yes, yes.
That could be the beta vector.
Oh, okay. So you are taking that parameter only.
Only yes. And this is a general sense. This is a general sense now.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now let me ask you a question. If it is a binomial distribution, what will be this theta be equal to?
For binomial, it will be beta 1, beta 2, right?
Binomial, or say Bernoulli random variable. What will this theta be?
Oh, so in that case, this will be mu NP and N.
Just P. Just P.
NPQ.
Just P. Okay.
Okay.
I have an example that this is a very general expression. Any distribution, any density function which the data has come from as a set of unknown parameter vector that it decides. For normal distribution you have, for Poisson distribution you have, for exponential distribution you have, for binomial you have, Bernoulli you have. That is the theta I'm referring to. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, yeah.
Sir, here when we take the sample y1 to yt, we don't talk about anything about the independence of y.
I'm coming to that. Just see the fourth bullet point. See the fourth bullet point. The observations are drawn independently. Okay, Sagar?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Therefore, it indicates the plausibility of different values of theta given the sample. That is, the joint density of n IID observations from this process is a product of the individual densities. Now take the last equality. Now, the joint density, when interpreted this way, like y1 now is a set of fixed numbers. Given y, what will be the theta? Here I need a curve. Here I need a vertical slash here. The density function, I have to say that these values are the probability of obtaining these values depend on theta, and this product of individual densities. The moment you interpret the y's a set of fixed numbers, our density function is reinterpreted as a likelihood function where given a set of fixed numbers, our aim is to get or obtain or estimate that parameter vector which is most likely to have given rise to this sample. So viewed in this way, the expression for the joint density also called the likelihood function and is denoted by L theta. This is a very subtle difference. The mathematical definition and all those of density function and the likelihood function are the same.
So,
Yeah.
So that means for every set of sample values, we would get a population parameter theta, which would optimize the likelihood of that sample value.
Yeah,
But-
possible. What is the random value? The random value is 1. We have done n experiments and we have got y1 to yn, a random sample. Okay.
So, but ultimate objective of the estimation should be to get the final, get a estimation of the overall population's parameter value.
Correct.
So how would we get a single value?
How did we arrive? No, you are asking the same question that we had the same problem in wireless. Wireless, what did we do to make sure that my only B will be the population parameter equal to beta? How did we solve that problem there?
Sir, I didn't get your question.
How did we solve this problem there? Now, I have only one sample here. I just want to arrive at that theta, which would have most likely given rise to this sample. That is my job here.
Yes, sir.
Number one. Your question is, this is not the only sample. Your question is correct. How did we solve it in the likelihood estimation, in the least squares estimation? The least squares estimation also, we had one sample. We estimated B through the maximum likelihood, through the least squares, correct?
Yes, sir.
Then how did we make sure there's only one B? How can we say that this B will be equal to the population parameter? No, I'm not saying that B will be equal to population parameter. Remember, we also discussed expected value of B will be hopefully equal to the population parameter beta. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, the fundamental concept. What was the fundamental concept there?
So that the estimated value would give the true population value.
Not estimated, that expected value. So where is expectation coming from?
Value, yeah.
Where is expectation? Yeah, but where is that expectation coming from? You have forgotten the fundamental concept. The fundamental concept behind that is we are expected to repeat that experiment again and again n number of times. Am I right?
So, but would we be taking expectations here as well?
Of course, I'll be taking expectation here also. I'm now worried about only one set of parameter vector. That expectations will come when I'm discussing the properties of this estimator. Am I right?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay. There we discuss the expectation only when we're discussing the small sample properties of the least squares estimator.
Yes, sir.
Okay, right now we concentrate only on obtaining this parameter vector, theta.
So, do you have an example where we get, for a single sample, we get multiple thetas for which likelihood is maximized?
Multiple theta? What do you mean by that? Single sample, multiple theta? I don't understand the question.
Yes, sir. Can you go a slide before?
This one? This one?
Yeah, it indicates the plausibility of different values of theta given the sample.
Why? Yes. Why not? Why not? Why not? That is what I asked you a question here. How will you maximize this? How will you answer this question? My idea is to maximize this probability. How will you maximize this probability of obtaining these particular values?
I would differentiate with respect to theta.
No. Don't go to respect it. Don't go to differentiation and all. Simple common sense question. I want to maximize this probability. This answers your question. I am going to try this distributed density function for various values of theta. Evaluating this density function for various values of theta. Am I right?
Okay, sir.
For that theta, whichever is from my probability is maximum, I'll say this is the theta value that gave rise to this particular sample. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
But where will it end and where will it begin?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, that is the example. That is the reason. I'm coming to an example later. I'll ask you more questions. Okay. Now, viewed this way, this expression for the joint density function is called the likelihood function and is denoted by L theta. Remember, f y star theta is the density function. L theta given y is the likelihood function. When there is no confusion, I'll drop this y and call it only L theta. Now, theta is a parameter vector. What is the maximum likelihood approach? The maximum likelihood approach to the problem of estimating theta is to ask what value of theta is most likely given the set of observations. Now you answer this question. Now you understand this point, the class. What is the maximum likelihood approach? Given the set of values, maximum likelihood approach is to ask the question, what is that parameter vector? What is that estimate of theta which is most likely to have given rise to the set of observations that you have? This is the principle of maximum likelihood. So this leads to the following principle. The ML estimate of theta is given by theta tilde, where theta tilde is a value such that the likelihood of theta tilde is greater than or equal to L theta hat, where theta hat is any other admissible estimate of theta. The rules by which an ML estimator is constructed must then be such as to ensure that for any particular sample, the resulting ML estimate satisfies the above inequality. The joint density function, I have drawn a sample from a distribution which depends on a set of parameter vector. My idea is to maximize the probability of having obtained that sample. But how will you do it? So consider the other problem. Now that you have drawn the sample is now fixed numbers. So look at the other problem. What is that parameter vector which would have most likely given rise to the sample that you have on your hand? That is the likelihood function. This is the maximum likelihood function. I have to obtain that value in such a way that the likelihood of theta tilde is greater than or equal to L theta hat, where theta hat is any other admissible estimate. Paramila, now you get the point.
Yes, sir.
So there could be two parameter vector, theta hat and theta tilde, but I have to find in such a way the theta in such a way that L theta tilde is greater than or equal to L theta hat. How do you find it now? Yeah, anyone? Gunika, now it's okay?
Yes, sir.
Anas Khan? Babu? Babu also is not there. Ritika?
Yes, sir.
Do you follow this or point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sanjana?
Yes, sir.
Do you follow the difference between likelihood and the density function?
Yes, sir.
What is the difference?
So in likelihood function, we basically take the random sample values as given, so they are fixed, and then we try to find the value of theta which would most likely give the random sample values. And joint density function is we basically try to find the probability of getting those random sample values given theta.
Given theta. Theta is not given.
So in the density function,
The density function, we do not know the theta. Remember, density function did not know the theta. We have only again y1 to yt. We have to maximize the probability for various values of theta.
Oh, yes, sir. Okay.
Okay. Now, this is a likelihood function. Now, for the linear regression problem, then the likelihood function is Saurav. Now you see the difference?
Yes, sir. Now I see the difference.
Okay, now theta has been replaced by beta. In the linear regression problem, our unknown coefficient vector is beta. Okay, now beta, L beta y. Now this is the density function. The density function is the flip. The yi becomes the fixed given and beta is to be estimated. The density function becomes the likelihood function. So this is it. Otherwise, there is no difference at all from likelihood function and the density function. Okay, this is the only difference that you have to keep in mind. This will be a typical interview question. The joint density is the likelihood function defined as a function of the unknown parameter vector beta, where y is used to indicate the collection of sample. Y is a sample that I have. The function contains all the information available in the, yeah, anyone?
Sir, I didn't get what is the difference between joint probability and maximum
The joint
likelihood.
density function, look at this. What is the joint density function? This is the joint density function, isn't it? F y1 yt to theta, right? Given on theta.
Yes, sir.
The moment you draw a sample from a distribution, you draw it arbitrarily, that density, there'll be a density function. The density function will invariably depend on some parameters.
Yes, sir.
What are the parameters for a normal distribution?
Mean and variance, its variance.
Unit sigma square, am I right?
Yes,
so our condition is this. I have drawn a sample now. You have a sample now. Okay. What is that set of parameter values you must have given rise to this particular sample?
This particular sample means y1 to yt.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
The joint density function, our idea is to maximize the probability of obtaining this particular values for any given set of theta.
Or in the second case, in the maximum likelihood?
The maximum likelihood, how does it take it? Okay, how does maximum likelihood tackle it? The moment y1, yt becomes a set of fixed numbers, isn't it? The moment has been given to its fixed numbers. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Now my question is, the question remains, instead of maximizing the probability, I'll ask the opposite question. What is that value of theta which is most likely to have given rise to this particular sample? The maximum likelihood approach the problem of what value of theta is most likely given the set of observation. That's it. Instead of approaching from the joint density function where you have to maximize the probability, the likelihood function is going to straight away arrive at that particular set of theta which is most likely to have given rise to this sample. So that it means to say the theta that you are going to arrive through the likelihood function would definitely maximize the probability of obtaining that particular sample. Now you get it?
Yes, sir.
Can you proceed?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Now for the regression problem, the theta is replaced by beta. This becomes joint density function defined as a function of unknown parameter vector beta, where y is used to indicate the collection of sample. The function contains all the information available in sample about the population. The strategy by which that information is used in estimation constitutes the estimator. We shall see more about it when we discuss applications of maximal likelihood estimation technique. Note that we write the joint density function as a function of the data conditioned on the parameters, whereas we form the likelihood function, we write this function in reverse as a function of parameters conditioned on the data. This is the main difference between joint density and the likelihood function. The two functions are the same. It is to be emphasized that the likelihood function is written in this fashion to highlight our interest in parameters and the information about them contained in the observed data. Likelihood function is not to represent a probability density with the parameters. The classical estimation framework, the parameters are, remember, the density function must integrate to 1. The likelihood function need not integrate to 1, need not integrate to 1 at all, because it is now a function of the theta. The classical estimation framework, the parameters are assumed a fixed constant that we hope to learn about from the data. The same thing happens in the classical estimation framework. No matter whether it is Bayesian or, no matter whether it is wireless or maximum likelihood, there are some unknown constants which we would like to estimate. There must be unknown constants or fixed constants that we hope to learn about from the data. It's usually simpler to work with the log of the likelihood function, which may be called the log likelihood function. So this is this is a notation I'll be using. Log L theta conditioned on y. Remember, f theta will be reverse. Log f by theta MLE2. Now let us suppose the disturbance in the classical linear regression is normally distributed. Now this is the general version. This is the general log likelihood, the general density function. Now let's go back to assume a classical linear regression model. In the classical linear regression model, we have to, the only random quantity is E. So E, the error term. The error term, if you assume it is normally distributed, the disturbance in the classical linear regression problem is normally distributed. The conditioned on its specific xi, here xi is the ith vector. Yi is normally distributed with the mu I and xi transpose beta and variance sigma square. The third bullet point, what is being played here? Let me see whether you are ready for the exam. The third bullet point, I said the disturbances are normally distributed, but here I'm talking about the disturbance of yi. What is being played here? What is being used here?
Linearity property of normal distribution.
Huh?
Linearity.
No. I'm saying that disturbances are normally distributed. The third bullet point now, the yi is not normally distributed. How did they? What is it being played here from second bullet point to third bullet point? What principle is being used here?
Sir, I'm not sure, but I can try that the any function of a normally distributed variable is also normally distributed.
That's fine, but how do we find the mean and the variance? What is it that is being used here? This is a concept that you're done in statistics. Do you remember the function of a normal random variable? Have we discussed functions of normal random variable?
Sir, there in CLRM, we had like all the errors had a mean of 0, like conditional on any xi.
That is okay. Paramila, my question is the following. What is your normal linear regression model, classical linear regression model? Y is equal to x beta plus E.
Yes.
Now I'm saying E is normally distributed. I'm asking you the question, what will be the distribution of Y? Not ready.
Yes, sir, because you're conditioning on xi, sir. That is a constant plus a normally distributed variable.
No. See the question. Understand the question. What is it now? E is a normally distributed random variable. I'm now defining a function y is equal to x beta plus E. Isn't this a function in E?
Yes, sir.
Now we have discussed this before. You have been given a random variable which normally distributed. You define a function of that random variable, and we are interested in finding the distribution of that function. Where did we come across this?
So transformation.
You remember the transformation and all those stuff that we did?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then yeah.
Sir, do we need to know the distribution of xi?
Xi is a constant here. Remember, classical
so
linear regression model, Xi is given to you, it's fixed.
Yes, okay.
Okay, then conditioned on a specific xi where xi is the ith vector, y is normally distributed mean mu I, xi beta, and variance sigma square. How did we find this? Okay, that means the observed random variables are not IID. They have different means, but the observations are independent. And the log likelihood function can be written as follows. Does this make sense? How did I write this? MLE3.
Sir, from the normal distribution form.
Normal distribution for any particular variable can be written this way. From there, I can write the log likelihood.
Yes.
X is the n by k matrix of data, with its ith row vector is xi prime. Efficient estimation principle. Okay, now all of you, Saurav, Sagar, Paramila, the Drishan, all of you now wake up. See this question. Let me explain principle of likelihood with an example. I'll ask question which will unravel what we do in maximum likelihood. Consider this sample. The principle of maximum likelihood provides a means of choosing an asymptotically efficient estimator for a parameter or a set of parameters. Consider this example. You can write the density for each observation this way. Now, everybody, Gunika, Paramila, Dreshan, Saurav, everyone, what is our idea is to maximize this probability of having obtained this sample. What will you do, Dreshan?
So first we'll find the likelihood function.
No. Take MLE4. MLE4.
Yeah, if they are random samples, so
random. Yeah.
So the L theta will be product of all of this.
No. First MLE, how will you go about? I want to maximize. Observations are independent. The joint density, which is the likelihood for this sample, is this. MLE5. Can you write this?
Yes. This is what I was.
Okay. Now what will you do? I want to maximize the probability of having observed this sample. What will you do?
So it is easier to take log, I think.
What will you do? Initially, you take log also. Okay. You take log also. This is the likelihood, and you take the log also. What will you do? One way of doing it. You tell me one way of doing it.
So differentiating with respect.
No. Other way around. MLE5. One way of doing it is try this for different values of theta.
Yes.
Okay. Suppose you try this for different values of theta and plot it. Suppose you are plotting the likelihood instead of the log likelihood. You try for different values of theta and the plotting. You plot the likelihood. Okay. Which likelihood? Okay. Now, how will it behave like likelihood?
So it will reach a peak for a certain value of theta.
Yeah, exactly. Exact certain value of theta, that will be the peak.
Yes.
You would settle for that theta?
Yes.
What is the other way? Okay, now introduce, okay, now use the statistical word for that peak. Suppose we use the word mode for that peak.
Yes.
What is the other way, easier way of finding that mode for any function?
dl by d theta.
Who is this? Yamini?
Yes, sir.
This is a function. I want to find the mode of that function, the peak.
So first order and second order conditions.
So what are some? In calculus language, we have to simply
differentiate
with
right?
respect to theta.
Exactly. That is exactly what we are going to do. Okay. This last result gives the probability of observing this particular sample, assuming that a Poisson distribution with asset unknown parameter theta generated from the data. What value of theta would make this sample most probable? This can be found by plotting MLE for various values of theta, and the mode will be the maximum likelihood estimator MLE of theta. Is it okay, Saurav? Is it okay, Gunika? Is it okay, Paramila, Drishan?
Sir, I didn't get that plotting thing. Why are you plotting against the function and not the log? I don't know.
No problem. You can probably plot it against log also. I have no problem. If you plot it against the likelihood, the peak will be very clear. That is why I'm saying.
Yes, yes. In that case, we will get 1 by x something, so that will make
Correct.
calculation come.
Yes, why I'm talking of likelihood is with the peak will be very clear. In case of log likelihood, it will be a flat curve. Then you have to look for the tangential point. Remember?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That is why I said likelihood. You can plot both. What value of theta would make this sample most probable? This can be found by plotting MLE5 for various values of theta, and the mode will be the maximum likelihood estimate or MLE of theta. Drishan, are you now okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now Yamini, is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
Sagar?
Sir,
Yeah, who is this?
sir, can the distribution be multimodal of theta?
It's possible. It is possible. Absolutely possible. Then you'll have two maximum, then you are entering a new area. Which one will you select? This is where it is possible if the function is underlying normal equation is nonlinear. It's quite possible my objective function will have many modes. And now that is the difference between the global maximum and the local maximum. Your parameter, your nonlinear numerical optimization routine will have to select that mode, which is the maximum. Do you get my point, Pramila?
Okay, sir.
That's quite possible. Your question is quite possible. I'm just introducing the concept that's why I'm taking a unimodal sum. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Okay. Can we go?
Sir,
yeah.
Sir, just to be clear, so first what we do is we take different values of theta and then see which value is the maximum, and then we plot it so that we can get a function, and then we differentiate that function so that we can get the value maximum, check the maximum value, right?
Correct. After plotting the values, you just settle for it, because why do you maximize this? Maximization is the opposite of what you are trying to do.
Oh, okay.
Oh, see, what I'm saying, Saurav, instead of evaluating this MLE5 for various values of theta, that is actually a donkey work. Don't you think so?
Yes, sir. That's why I was asking, why are we doing it twice?
No, yeah, we're not doing it twice. We are doing only do one. Okay, so instead of doing that, which is actually a donkey work, you straight away maximize this function. Alternatively, we can find the maximum of MLE5. Is it okay now, the class?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Yamini, Drishan, Gunika?
Yes, sir.
Gunika?
Yes, sir. Yes,
okay,
sir.
now alternatively, which is actually evaluating MLE for various values of theta is actually donkey work. So forget it. I want the maximum of this function is simply use calculus. Maximum of 5. since it's always convenient to work with the log of the likelihood function because logarithm is a monotonic function, so the values of L theta are same as that maximize in the 3, we can write the log of MLE5 for a general sample size of n as follows. This is for general sample size. So look at that. I'm fine differentiating this with respect to theta, which is nothing but the sample values. For an assumed sample of size n, the above expressions become this. So what is that value of theta for which we'll maximize the probability? The value of theta will be 2. And this is a maximum because of this. So that's the necessary condition to maximize the likelihood function is to simply set the first order equation first derivatives to 0, MLE6. This is called the likelihood equation. What is the equivalence in the normal linear regression, the least squares?
Sir, this theta hat which we found for the Poisson distribution,
Yeah.
that is not equal to the sample mean, right?
No, why? Take the sample.
No, the sample mean is different from 2, so there is no restriction on like expectation of theta hat should be theta.
No.
Okay.
This is a maximum of this. So what is the equivalence of MLE6 in the classical linear regression model?
The normal equations.
Correct. How did we find the parameter vector in the OLS thing? It was the normal equation. Here it is the likelihood equation. Can you proceed? Hello, class. Anas Khan, I called you. Where are you? Anas Khan. Ashwini Sharma.
So Devish has asked a question in chat.
What is it?
Do we have any information about the curvature of maximum likelihood function?
Can you come again? I didn't get the question. Do we have?
Do we have any information regarding the curvature of the maximum likelihood function?
The curvature?
Yes.
No, right now we don't have, I'm not. Lot of disturbance, Pramila, in your this thing, Pramila.
Sir.
Lot of disturbance is as though you were sitting in a factory.
It's the fan, sir.
Oh, it's making a lot of noise. Okay, Ashwini Sharma is not there. Avik Gupta? Digitally present, physically absent?
No, sir. I'm there.
Avik Gupta, okay, you're also physically present. Okay. Okay, did you follow this discussion today's morning? Maximum likelihood for equation?
Yes, sir.
Avik Gupta?
Yes, sir, I got it.
Okay, where is Ashwini Sharma? Ashwini Sharma? Rudra Narayan?
Yes, sir.
Did you follow this discussion, today's discussion?
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow, Rudra Narayan, for tomorrow's test, I'll send the question paper half an hour early to the entire class. So you'll have any problems in connectivity and all those stuff? Hopefully not, no?
No, sir. Sometimes but hello?
Yeah, tell me.
No, sir.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay. Shubham Das?
Yes, sir.
Shubham Das, sir, did you follow this discussion?
Yes, I did.
Okay, Sonali Goel?
Yes, sir.
Did you follow this discussion?
Yes, sir.
Swarupjit Pale?
Yes, sir.
Okay, did you follow the discussion? How was this discussion? Maximum likelihood, did you follow?
Sir, this is fine, sir. I just had one question. I thought I would mail you. Sir, what would be the MLE in case of a uniform distribution?
We'll see. We'll see all those examples. We'll see all those examples, okay?
Okay, sir.
I'll ask you when I ask the question, you're going to tell me that by maximizing the likelihood function, okay?
Yes, okay, sir.
Be ready, be ready. Ujjaval?
Yes, sir.
Ujjaval, did you follow
Yes,
this
sir.
today's discussion?
I tried, but it is quite difficult for me, sir.
What point is it difficult?
The entire stuff. So, I'm not from eco background, so I am seeing all this stuff for the first time.
Which background are you?
I'm from BSc.
BSc what? Physics?
BSc Physical Sciences with computer science.
But okay, but no, we have been having problems right from the beginning, or only this portion?
I am having problem in the whole econometrics, but I'm trying. I'm doing it on my own from the book and from the materials.
The material is okay. The PPT is okay or helpful?
Yeah, PPTs are really helpful, sir.
Can you proceed with this now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. This is called the likelihood equation. Yeah.
Am I audible? Sir,
Yeah, tell
what
me.
I was trying.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. What I was asked, whether the maximum likelihood function that we are getting, so is it concave in nature, strictly concave, or like this is what I was trying to ask.
Concavity.
Because
Concavity restrictions will be there. Concavity restrictions will be there.
yeah. So what if the maximum likelihood function is not concave? Then in that case.
No, that is a condition that is being imposed, Devesh.
Sir, because you see, someone talked about uniform distribution. So if we take uniform distribution, we have like infinite number of modes in that.
That's not uniform distribution. MLE won't work.
Yes, sir. It does not exist. Yes, sir.
Yeah, MLE won't work. Now, what is the word? Shubham?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, you got the answer. MLE won't work in uniform distribution. I thought of bringing. Yeah, no. I thought of bringing this up when you are discussing the properties of ML estimators. Okay.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, uniform distribution, it won't work because it will violate some of the properties that you are going to assume for the properties of ML estimators. Okay.
Okay, sir.
That's why I said. Now that Devesh has forced me to say that answer. You got the answer? Hello, Shubham?
Yes, sir, I did. I got
it. Okay, Devesh, it's okay. Can you go ahead?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, we can.
Okay. The log likelihood function and the likelihood equations for the normal distribution. In sampling from a normal distribution with mean mu and variance sigma square, now I'm coming from the general to the normal distribution. The log likelihood function, the likelihood equation for the normal distribution. In sampling from a normal distribution with mean mu and variance sigma square, the log likelihood function, the likelihood equation for the unknown parameters mu and sigma square, and the solutions for the unknown parameters are displayed next. Look at this. Who are this here? Who is this? Hello? Swarupjit?
Sorry, sir, there was a problem with my phone.
Is it okay now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, look at this. This is the log likelihood for a normal distribution. Is it okay? To obtain the solutions, evaluate the likelihood equations, MLE8 and MLE9 with the solution values mu hat and sigma square. You say this simply y bar and sigma square ml. Differentiated between these squares and this MLE10. You had ml and sigma square ml. The properties of maximum likelihood estimators. Now comes the toughest part of MLE. The properties of maximum likelihood estimators. Maximum likelihood estimators MLEs are most attractive because of the larger sample of asymptotic properties. What is asymptotic efficiency? An estimator is asymptotically efficient if it is consistent, asymptotically normally distributed, that is CAN, consistent and asymptotically normally distributed, and as an asymptotic covariance matrix that is not larger than the asymptotic matrix of any other consistent asymptotically normally distributed estimator. Not larger in the sense covariance matrix of the less efficient estimator equals that of efficient estimator plus a non-negative definite matrix. This is the definition of asymptotic efficiency. Since establishing the asymptotic properties of MLE involves intricate mathematics, we should just list out the asymptotic properties of our MLE. We use the following notation. Theta hat is a maximum likelihood estimator. Theta 0 denotes. See, I have written the PPTs in such a way. First will be the general stuff, and the next setup, when I took the examples, it will be parameters specific to that example. For example, theta hat is a maximum estimator, is the generic stuff. When I talk about normal distribution, it will be a vector. Theta hat will be mu and sigma square, which I may call beta. So the theta here becomes beta there. So when it comes to Bernoulli random variables, it will be just P. Okay, so it is going to vary like this. The general discussion will be on theta. The particular example will be the parameter vector refers to the distribution that I followed. So you have to do the mapping correctly. Theta hat is the maximum likelihood estimator. Theta 0 denotes the true value. Theta denotes another possible value of the parameter vector, not the MLE and not the true value. Expectations based on true values is denoted E0, theta 0. These are the notations. We assume the certain regularity conditions are met. Killer regularity conditions. Proving this is beyond us. So we are just going to say the regularity conditions. These are the regularity conditions, and the regularity conditions are met. If they are met, MLE has the following asymptotic properties. They are consistent. Plane theta hat is equal to theta 0. Asymptotic normality. Theta hat asymptotically normally distributed with mean theta 0 and where covariant matrix I theta 0 inverse, where I theta 0 is nothing but minus the expectation of the Hessian, which is called, if theta is vector of parameters, then I theta 0 is called the information matrix. Information matrix. M3, asymptotic efficiency. Theta hat is asymptotically efficient and achieves the Kramer-Rao lower bound for consistent estimators given in M2 above. What is this Kramer-Rao lower bound is what we are going to see shortly. Invariance. Okay, forget the invariance. I am introducing invariance at all. Consistency, normality, asymptotic efficiency is what you must concentrate on. These four asymptotic properties explain the prevalence of maximum likelihood techniques in econometrics. M2 greatly facilitates hypothesis testing and the construction of interval estimates. And M3 is a particularly powerful result of the asymptotic efficiency and the Kramer-Rao lower bound. And that is what we are going to discuss in detail shortly. The MLE has the minimum variance achievable by a consistent and asymptotically normally distributed estimator. The regularity conditions are technical in nature and difficult to prove. Loosely stated, they are conditions imposed on the density of the random variable that appears in the likelihood equation. These conditions will ensure that the Lindbergh-Levy central limit theorem will apply to the moments of the sample of observations. Say among the conditions that are finite moments of x up to order 3. An additional condition, normality, normally included in the set is that the range of random variables be independent of the parameters. Okay, estimating the asymptotic variance of the maximum likelihood estimator. What is this? The asymptotic normality with this this is the variance covariance with vector of parameters. This is called the information matrix. How do you estimate this information matrix? There's only way, most popular way is to simply replace this with estimated quantities. Estimating the asymptotic variance covariance matrix of the maximum likelihood estimator. The asymptotic Ware-Covariant matrix of the maximum likelihood estimator is a matrix of parameters. It is a function of the true parameter of the theta and hence must be estimated. With the form of expected values, the second derivative, the log likelihood is known, then it is exactly this. But this estimated is rarely available. So the second derivative, the log likelihood, will almost always. So what is the alternative? Alternative is simply use the estimator. Replace this unknown parameter vector, population parameter vector, with the estimated parameter vector. The idea is to compute this estimator by evaluating the matrix of the log likelihood function and the maximum likelihood estimates. Okay. Now I'm just rushing through this because of the following reason. This likelihood equation. Why maximum likelihood is very unfair, not in favor with this econometrician, applied econometrician. This likelihood equation, except for the special, listen to this, except for the special case of classical linear regression model. That is, errors are distributed the mean 0 and variance sigma square I. This likelihood equation are very complicated non-linear equations. Okay. There is very little you can do by hand, even by the help of computer. You need some packages to do the MLE for you. In the normal equations, you could have written a program yourself to obtain the estimated vector. But in maximum likelihood equation estimation, that is not possible except in the case of classical linear regression model setting. That is, we are going to assume that y is equal to x beta plus e. Errors are normally distributed with mean 0 and sigma square I. Then I can write the likelihood equation, which will be completely linear. Okay. Take the second. Suppose we relax the assumption of error from normally distributed mean 0 instead of sigma square I. We put sigma square omega there. The likelihood equation becomes extremely complicated, non-linear equations. You can solve it only with the help of numerical optimization procedures like Gauss-Newton, Newton-Raphson. There's so many equations, so many methods that are available. And this is where the packages come to your help. This is why MLE was not that prevalent before the advent of high-speed computers. Now, with the help of high-speed computers and very good packages available, you must go only for maximum likelihood estimation. Even in this maximum likelihood estimation, there are two, something called conditional MLE and a full information maximum likelihood. You should always go for full information maximum likelihood and not the conditional MLE. Okay, so that is the reason why people do not go for likelihood equation most of the time, even now. This is not costly computing is no more an excuse not to go for MLE. Okay, this is exactly the reason why I'm saying, what is it? Where was I? This is the reason why I'm saying calculating the information matrix for any other situation other than the classical linear regression model situation is very difficult. Okay, this will be in the classical linear regression model. This boils down to sigma square x transpose x inverse, but for any other situation, this is not so simple. This is not so simple. So for any other situation, you have to rely on the information matrix or the standard errors that the packages give you. Okay. So the idea is to compute estimated by evaluating the actual and not the expected second derivatives. An MLE is asymptotically efficient if it achieves the Cramer-Rao lower bound. What is the Cramer-Rao lower bound? To know that, we have to know what Fisher information is. Okay, now you have to tell me, hello class, wake up. Devesh.
Yes.
Yeah, who is this?
Sir, Sagar. Sir,
Sagar, tell
through
me.
MLE, we are not able to say anything about the biasness of the parameter. I mean, the calculated.
No, MLE, small sample properties of MLE are impossible to derive.
Okay.
Okay, small sample properties of MLEs are impossible to derive. That's why we settle only for asymptotic properties. Okay.
Sir, you called me.
Yeah, Devesh, tell me.
No, sir, nothing.
Did you follow today's lectures?
Yes, sir, I followed.
Too fast?
No, sir, pace was good.
Okay, the class, Avik Gupta.
Yes, sir.
Can you go to Fisher information now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How about others? Yaramila, Sonali.
Yes, sir.
Can we continue, Sonali, for some more minutes? Introduce the Fisher information.
Yes, sir.
How did you follow this, Sonali?
Sir, I'm not able to follow completely, but I have to go through it.
Okay. Babu, what happened to you today?
Sir, I'm here, sir.
So what happened to you today? I called you before.
Sir, before I had, I think I wasn't that able to understand, but later on I started to understand, sir.
Okay, can we continue for a few more minutes and introduce the Fisher information?
Okay, sir.
Drishan, you have left?
No, sir. I'm here.
Can you go on for a few minutes, introduce the Fisher information?
Okay, sir.
Kanika, you're quiet today. What happens?
Nothing, sir.
You already started reading for the test or something?
No, sir. No, sir.
This time, don't forget to write the page number and your name.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can you go ahead with the Fisher information? Are you ready? It's already 11.
Sir, I don't know about it, sir.
Okay, what is Fisher information? Try to answer this question. What is Fisher information? Fisher information is a property of a distribution that can be used to measure how much information one is likely to obtain from a random variable or a random sample. What is the use of Fisher information? Can be used to determine the lower bound for the variance of an arbitrary estimator of the parameter theta in a given problem. This is the most important result in statistics, very, very important result in statistics. This is going to, Fisher information will be used in Rao-Kramer lower bound. Literature says it's the Kramer-Rao. I would like to say Rao-Kramer because Rao found it in 44, Kramer gave it in 45. So let's put the Rao first. It's Rao-Kramer lower bound, otherwise called the Kramer-Rao lower bound in the literature. This Fisher information can be used to determine that lower bound. What is a Fisher information? Fisher information is a property of a distribution that can be used to measure how much information one is likely to obtain from a random variable or a random sample. Consider this problem. Okay, class, how will you arrive at it? What is the method that you suggest to the store owner?
So the question is not clear.
Question is not clear. The question is very good. How do you model the customer arrival? To know information about customer arrival. Yeah. Who is this?
We can use distribution for. We can use customers. Sound distribution for modeling customer arrivals with information that in a short interval there is only one customer arriving.
Correct, correct. So now you are fixing the number. Do you get my point?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are fixing the number in an interval. Like there is no.
What could be the other plan? There is one other plan.
I don't know, sir.
Look at this. Look at this. One plan is to choose the fixed number n. That is what you are suggesting, Saurav.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, I was fixing the number to 1.
And see how long X it takes until n customers arrive. That is one way of doing it. Paramila, do you get it now?
Yes, sir.
What is the other point? Other plan is to observe for a fixed length of time t and count how many customers Y arrive during time t. Is it possible to do this way also?
So the variable x takes the takes either, it's either the time or it's the number of customers who arrive during a fixed time. Okay.
Now you understand the two different plans?
Yes, sir.
Now the question is, which plan is going to give you better information? Simply, which sampling plan is better?
Same problem.
Sir, I think plan 2.
Is it Drishan?
Yes.
Plan 2. Okay, I'll come back to this problem much later. Yeah. Saurav, tell me.
Isn't both problems same? Like in one you are trying to model number of customers and in other you are trying to model the time, right? So eventually both are same, right?
Both are same. My idea is to know about the customer arrivals. I'm fixing the number in one, as you said. I'm in the other, I'm fixing the time. Which plan will give me better information? That is, look at this. The store owner can observe a Poisson random variable y with mean t theta, or observe a gamma random variable x with parameters n and theta. This is it now. Because waiting times are always used to, Poisson distribution is always used to model waiting times. So that's why Poisson random variable. And the gamma random variable is used for the other idea.
Second plan, I think.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, I do.
Okay. So in the second plan, the gamma, we investigate the waiting time until whatever we are expecting to happen happens. So that is why now. Now you decide which plan will give me better information. Is there any way to address the question of which sampling plan is likely to be more informative? The Fisher information provides an answer. Fisher information, what is that Fisher information? The Fisher information in the single random variable. Okay, now it is 11.8. We shall continue in the next class. Hello?
Okay, sir.
Paramila, Shorav, Sagar, Kanika, Abhik will continue in the next class. Manas?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Manas?
Yes,
Manas,
sir.
where were you today?
Yes, sir. I'm here, sir.
Did you follow today's lectures?
So the last 10-15 minutes, maybe not, but the initial part I did follow that.
Okay. Mansi? Mansi?
Sir, I am able to hear.
Could you follow it generally, if not particularly?
Hello, sir, are you able to listen to me?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, sir, I was facing lots of network problem today. About 3 to 4 times I have to rejoin, so I wasn't able to follow.
Okay. Okay, now Dheeraj?
Present, sir.
Present, yeah, good. But how did you follow today's lecture?
I think I followed, sir.
Followed, okay. Okay, Pratyusha,
Yes, sir.
how about you?
Sir, I'll go the same way. I mean, the last part where you went relatively faster, it was tough to catch on, but the initial parts were somewhat easy to understand. Sir, also it was a recap from the undergrad only, a small section of this.
We have done it in our undergrad, this section, Emily?
A bit, sir, not very in very extensive way, but a section, small section.
No, but a particular part of asymptotic covariance matrix, I just rushed through because there is very little that you can do about it. In most of the situations, the computer will give you, estimate the variance covariance matrix, and you make use of it. That's why I went through it very fast. Okay, that is the only part. Like Fisher information, when I come tomorrow, I'm going to ask you questions. You sit with the pencil, you with the pen, and you are going to answer these questions. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
In the next class, I'm going to Fisher random variables. There's some lot I'm going to ask the class to solve. Roshni.
Yes, sir.
How about you?
Sir, it was okay, but we're having our exam tomorrow, so I really didn't read
At least
extensively all these things.
Roshni, good you said the truth at least.
No, sir, actually, I didn't read very extensively all these things, so I have to go through it again.
Okay.
That's the truth.
Okay, all the best. Shivanjan, how about you? Not been talking to you in a long time.
Yes, sir, I'm getting the lecture.
So you're also preparing for tomorrow's exam?
No, sir, I followed the lecture today. And we are preparing.
Okay. Yashika?
Yes, sir.
How about you?
Yes, sir. Like I have to once go through it again. Like I followed it partially, but yeah, I have to like go through it once again.
Okay. Okay. Gaurima?
Yes, sir.
How about you? Could you follow?
Some more or less.
You're also training for reading.
Follow.
You are also reading side by side for tomorrow's exam, I'm sure.
Yes, sir. Hello. I'm not doing the lecture, sir.
Okay. Chitralekha, how about you?
Yes, sir.
Would you follow or?
I tried to follow most of the part.
But mainly, did you understand the difference between density function and the likelihood function, the subtle difference?
Yeah, I can say.
That's the only thing. Rest is algebra. Anand Dubey. Dubey Saab.
Yes, sir.
So how about you?
I'm trying, sir. It's fairly early to comment on that.
No, but the main thing, a difference between.
Yeah, I just get the intuition part. I understand.
Okay, so that is what is important. Rest is algebra. Algebra you can always sit and learn. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Abhishek Kumar.
Yes, sir.
अरे तुम्हारा ईमेल और उसका दूसरा भी अभिषेक कुमार है ना?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You write the email and name very clearly so that I don't send the wrong answer sheets to you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. How about today's class? How did it go?
Yes, sir. It was fine, sir.
It was fine. Okay. Aman Rathod, the last one. Aman Rathod.
Yes, sir.
How did you find today's class? Where you were concentrating, you are attentive?
Yes, sir. I try to be. Some parts were good. I mean, when you have rushed the things, that makes it much more difficult for me. But rest of the part was, sir, the algebraic part, when you have said about the asymptotic distribution and all.
No, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. You just MLE asymptotic properties, just forget it. Whatever the computer gives you, take it. That's it. Okay.
Okay, sir. Fine.
Because most of the time be non-linear and asymptotic MLE asymptotic properties are very, very difficult to explain. Understood? But I am asking you, did you get the subtle difference between likelihood function and the density function?
Yes, sir. I get that.
And
to
the
some
principle of maximum likelihood.
Yes, sir.
That is important. Okay, rest of the stuff is algebra. Don't worry about the MLE asymptotic properties of it. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, last one. Debojit, you are still there. How about you?
Yes, sir.
How about you?
Yes, I followed, but the last part, as everyone said, I didn't follow.
Asymptotic,
The
no?
asymptotic, yes, sir.
Forget the asymptotic part. I'll forget asymptotic part. You just go. I'll send you the slide. Go through it. Only thing again, asymptotic part, the Fisher information that I'm going to derive and the Kramer or lower bound I'm going to derive in the next few classes. You should be very ready. Okay.
Okay.
Sit with the paper and pen. I'm going to ask anyone any question. Understood?
Yes.
Okay.
Sir?
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, I had a follow-up question from the doubt which I had mailed you yesterday.
I sent you the answer.
Yeah, so I wasn't clear about why can CLT not be used. Is it because the lower bound which we are getting by using CLT is really low to achieve a normal approximation?
No. See, when you sent the mail, it was 11:30 or something, if I remember right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was just going to bed and I just saw it and it looked like Shabishay was giving you the right answer. I just that's why I sent you a quick reply, right? Shabishay is correct.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'll sit with it today and let's see what happened there.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Anything regarding today's lecture?
No, sir. It was pretty much clear.
Okay, class. Bye-bye. Take care. Tomorrow, be ready for tomorrow's test. Tomorrow for test from 9 to 11. I'll send the question paper around 8:30. You should send the answers back by 11:30. Okay. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.